Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond, broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you and gloves off. And I want to wish you all well. We're starting off our week, and we're starting a week off with a great Laredoan who has a podcast, which is a small business spotlight. Miss Jessica Olivares. How are we doing, Jessica?
Good, thank you. How are you, Professor?
Good, good. Just here, just rolling along. Keep on moving forward.
Awesome, that's great.
And well, congratulations on your move. Congratulations on settling in over in Houston. How's Houston?
It's good. It's busy. I mean, it's been a very interesting journey moving over here, and just pretty much, getting adjusted to the different things in every aspect, right? Huge culture shock compared to what we're used to in Laredo. Houston is extremely diversified. Just so many opportunities, so many different industries. It's just it's compared, obviously, even just to size. I mean, it's a huge city. So it's been extremely challenging, but exciting.
Absolutely. Houston is one of the powerhouses in the United States, and you can certainly learn a lot from Houston. Like you said, it was a shock from differences. I know the working culture in Laredo is a little bit different than the working culture in other cities. Um, the that can bring a shock either way. Where people come here, they can be shocked, and even if it's in the federal level, it's a different story here. Laredo's a different, like it's in its own little bubble that. And explain to us some of the different uh, culture shocks that you went through. What would you say?
I mean, just, you have people from all different ethnicities, it's just all different races, and just learning to adapt to what is normal to them. Obviously, as far as in our bubble in Laredo, we're predominantly Hispanic. So to us, our customs, our culture, our certain way of speaking, everything, right, to us, that's normal. It's not something that we even think about twice when communicating with each other, or just being around other people, even at work or anything like that. And here in Houston, of course, you can't be talking Spanglish, or just not just that, but just different ways, customs, ways of greeting people, ways on how you carry yourself. You obviously have to adjust yourself to all those, to just kind of just try to adapt to your situation and to all the different, people that you come, across with. But more than anything, in my circle, in my, the people that I've encountered, it's been very welcoming. I've been blessed to have amazing people to be, to be around me and be supportive, and help me just navigate, where do you go, what's the safe places in Houston, where do you shop, what are the safe areas to shop in, restaurants to try, just a lot of different things, but it's just in each and every way, it's just completely different, so but at the end of the day, people are people. So you just find a way to connect with everybody, and we find that common ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like Houston. I think Houston's a nice town. I lived for a long time. I lived in Dallas and of course Paris, and those were differences altogether. The fast pace of Paris, I can't compare it to anybody. I can't. Maybe New York, but it's a different speed. It's a different way of life. Um, Laredo's it's set back, as you know it. It's has a difference. Even though it's moving forward, everybody here is is different. It's um,
You're very Laredo. I see it as it's very sheltered from a lot of the realities that are that we don't, face. Obviously, in that end too, a lot of people don't know the things that you face down in the border, right? Um, but all in all, yes, I feel that I was released into a jungle here, compared to Laredo, and it's just very different.
Absolutely. Well, the concrete jungle, but Laredo has its points and its things. Not, Laredo's a violent town. People don't want to they don't want to claim that, and they kind of say no, it's not. It's very violent. It's a hard town, and it's a town that it's who does it and who's gonna stand up more than the other, and that's just the culture that we live in. But all in all, we have some good people here. How is how is it in Houston in comparison to the small businesses? Because I remember when you started the COVID community. We spoke back last year, and everybody was kind of scrambling, trying to help people out in France and small business. And we did the same thing. Now it's kind of hitting back to that part again. There's a lot of businesses that are afraid. People are so afraid with what's going on. The condensation of the pandemic is coming back again, and people are just afraid here in Laredo. I think people here are scared. I mean, I think the Llorona's in every corner. You know, you know what I'm saying? Are people like that in Houston?
Yes. I think that overall you have, just like in Laredo, and I think in any part of the world, or the nation, obviously we're divided between still same politics, ideologies, and do we wear a mask or are you violating our rights if we wear the mask? The vaccines help? No, they don't. All of that. You see it in Laredo and you see it here. Um, so on that end, I know that a lot of the hospitals here in Houston today, I heard it I believe it was over the radio, that they weren't admitting patients anymore because they're overextended. They can't accept any more patients. That reality is very real. COVID is real, regardless of political affiliations or anything like that. Unfortunately, I don't want to get too much into it, but with my cousin, he's fighting for his life right now in ICU in the hospital due to COVID. So once you experience that firsthand in your family, um, I'm not someone that's here now to try to convince anybody if they should get vaccinated or what they should do. But I can definitely tell you from personal experience that it, we see it in the news, we hear it every day, um, and we see it on Facebook when family members are asking for prayers, or you see a rest in peace post and a picture of somebody that we didn't think was going to pass away, and it doesn't hit you. You put the praying hands, and you put a sad emoji on or whatever it is, but you never relate to it. It doesn't, you don't feel it until it hits home. That's
Absolutely.
when.
You know, um, I'm like you. If somebody wants to have the vaccine, please do so. If a person doesn't want to, that's your prerogative, that's your choice. I don't want anything to be forced upon anybody. I don't think that's where we should be heading. Um, If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. If you go into a small business and the business says, please wear a mask here, you should have the dignity not to start arguing outside. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I can have my rights. I can do it. That's the person's own right of how he wants to run his business. That's his business. We should respect that. I don't think everything's been so weaponized that even the hate towards the unvaccinated or the hate towards the people that don't want to wear masks, it's so up there that, we're going down a bad road. And this road is going to continue until it's going to explode. And people do not understand that. I've seen very, the rhetoric on Facebook, the comments on Facebook, the hate that is being spewed out against those that say, you know what, I feel fine. I don't want to get vaccinated. The way they're being treated, it's pretty ugly. It's going to get worse, and people say, no, it's not. No, it is. And if this is where we're heading, it's going to be an ugly thing for our children. Um, I'm more concerned about small businesses staying afloat, especially, Laredo,
Hmm.
bad shape. You know that. Um, our leaders believe that Laredo is fine and hunky dory, and we're doing the best thing. And look at us, we're going to two-step it away, and we're going to have sleep and watch the balloons fly at the park day, and you can have a hot dog. And look at the way it is; it's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. If they go in there into another lockdown, small businesses here in Laredo are not going to come back. Mall's hurting. Even though you see people walking in the mall, it's not there. I mean, you have so many. You've seen it. I'm not lying to you. And stores are empty, and people say no, it's because they're new construction. Who do you think's going to rent? There's some people that are very bold that started their small businesses, like my daughter.
Yeah.
You were there in her opening when she did the little open house, and she's doing fine. I said, just remind, this is what's going to happen. But there's some businesses that are all the gyms are suffering. The majority of them. Some of them are not. Some of them are, but the majority are. That we're not going to see this, and people need to start realizing.
Yeah, no, they do. And one of the things it's, good that we bring this up because today I was actually talking to some small business owners from here from Houston, some new friends that I met. One of them has a beauty spa, and the other one has a restaurant, two restaurants, one in the Westheimer area and the other one in downtown. And the beauty salon is in the Galleria area. And both of them, you know what? And there was actually a third lady right now. I forget what business she had. And we were all talking, and what they were saying is they're like, if we have a second shutdown, that we're not coming back. They're like, all our savings went out the door the first time the country shut down. Like, we don't have any more savings. We're not going to survive a second time. If we just, they decide to shut us down again. And they're all concerned because they're like, there's no more savings. So it's definitely a concern here, as I'm sure there is, as much of a concern back home with the industries that got hit the most, which was the restaurants, the hospitality industry, service industries, right? Obviously, everybody stops going out. We shut down. We go into lockdown at home. We stop, ordering food. We start eating at home. So in all, a lot of the small businesses, I mean, they're not going to survive if a second shutdown happens. Everything is not okay if that's the route that we're going to go. And I hope that this time around there is a plan in place. Not saying there wasn't one at the beginning, but it felt a little reactive the first time, as far as options and help coming out after months of being shut down. It's like, hey, they're people just like us, and like their mortgage, their food, their children, their light, their water, their car bill, like everything is backed up. How can we let so many months run and just, hope they make it somehow? So I hope that this time around there is a better plan, and we prepare that if there is a shutdown, there's support, because it's so sad. It's so sad. These times, there's so many things going on. I understand that, but these are where the leadership skills kick in. This is where, we need those leaders stepping up. We need those strategies to start working. We need strategy. We need to start working now.
Well, I look at it this way. When the last time, and I'm talking about Laredo, I don't know in Houston, I'm talking about Laredo. When Laredo shut down, there were only two city councilmen that really cared about small businesses. That was Vidal Rodriguez and Mercurio Martinez. The rest of them were all over the place, and some of them were scared. Some of them were just plain scared. You can tell that they've never been in a situation where they had seen fear, and they were always pampered, and now they're seeing fear, and you're like, you know, here's where it's at. So if are they going to be prepared now? I doubt it, and especially here in Laredo, I doubt it. And it's the leadership from the last time to this time is basically the same. We're a little bit worse, actually. Um, so I think Laredo is going to be turned pretty bad if we go into a lockdown. Forget about it. I mean, Laredo, good luck. McAllen is doing a lot better job. I hate to say this, but people should start looking at the valley to start moving. Because they're helping a lot more people that way. El Paso, Eagle Pass is doing tremendous. Del Rio is doing fabulous. But here we're just like, we care about the import export business, and everybody else can go fly a kite. We hear about that's the only business we care about. Anybody else, who cares about you, really? That's basically what the consensus is. And it's sad because, we love Laredo. We come from Laredo. We want it to prosper, but it's sad to see it fumble and flake out, just start crumbling the way it's crumbling. And we do need good leadership, and it's nowhere in sight.
That's, definitely one of the things that, as I was mentioning, is that leadership does definitely need to start working on a plan for small businesses. And like you said, not just import export. Yes, definitely import export is a key industry. Um, Obviously it's one of the biggest in Laredo, but there's so many other industries. There's so many other small businesses in the community that, I hope that there is a plan, because again, we care about our communities. So we want to make sure that, with all this ugliness that's happening, that we can look back in a couple of years and know that we tried our best and we did everything to try to just pull everybody through, because at the end of the day, politics aside, we're all just trying to get through, we're all just
Absolutely.
trying to get by these very difficult times.
And that's why I say that hate has to stop, and that hate has to stop. If the person doesn't want to get vaccinated, he's still a fellow human being. He's still our fellow man. He's still a fellow woman. We need to be embrace him, and that's your choice. Fine, I can dig that,
Yes, definitely. One of the things is,
but I'm not going to force
um,
anything upon anybody.
exactly. No, no, no. And I mean, even at work, we have people that, um, one of the, especially with the Delta variant, and a lot of it spreading very rapidly out here. Obviously, the building that we lease out to is the building, the management of the building asked that everybody start wearing masks. right? That was their requirement. And so they send out the memo, everybody needs to start wearing masks. Of course, right? You start having people that don't, started replying and they're like, no, you're violating my rights. I do not need to wear a mask and all this stuff. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's up to them, that's the way I see it. But again, it's hard to say there's no right or wrong. It's just confusing because in one end we have people that are not vaccinated, and you have people that are vaccinated, and you have this ugly Delta variant that's spreading like crazy, and that is way stronger than the original COVID. Um, so you just don't know. I mean, honestly, the way it feels is right now, you just take care of yourself, take care of yourself. I mean, that's why I've been very quiet about, the politics of the mask and COVID and all of that, because I just do not have the energy to argue with anybody about who's right or wrong, other than just I wish you the best, to everybody, and whatever your beliefs are. But I just know that from personal experience, to have to have a
You're,
family member that's sick, it's fighting for their life is the worst.
no, you're absolutely correct. I've had dear friends of mine that have succumbed to it. I've had friends of mine that had heart attacks and were put down as COVID deaths. I've had people I know right now, and right now today was my 58th person that I know here in Laredo, 58,
Hmm.
that took the vaccine and has COVID. So it puts a damper on that thought of why am I taking the vaccine if I'm still, you know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
some of them are, and I see everything that goes on, and the lack of trust from every and on all angles. The government doesn't trust us, and we don't trust the government anymore. So it's sad that the vast majority is not that way. The government doesn't trust the people, and the people don't trust the government. So
Hmm.
something's going to change there. So the way I look at it is, you know what? Let's just start taking care of ourselves, start taking care of those around us, build from that, and keep moving those communities forward. If you've got two, three businesses that are together that are there, let's start moving them forward. Let's make sure that they don't go under. Let's keep them afloat. That's the way I look at it. You know what? This lady she's a seamstress and she's going under. Guess what? Let's start sending everybody that gets a uniform at my school. Guess what? You're going to go to that lady over there and get it hemmed up. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That kind of.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. And
It's just, but it has to be a residual thing. Um, people don't do that. You start helping them out, and all of a sudden they won't help out any of the other anybody else that's there. So, what's in it for me, like they say here in Laredo, rastrillo, a hoe. It's only this way. They pull this way.
mhm.
So anyway,
And I think on that end, you know what? That's why I'm very proud of the group, the COVID group, the community. Well, now it's community allergy support group, because I think that, on the first year, obviously, that COVID struck and we were all extremely, scared. I think the fear factor just really brought out the heart of everybody, and just showing your best, side of of goodness, and just being kind, and just offering what you could. And if you were, if you could go get groceries for somebody. And still, you know what, I take it back that it was back then, because just recently somebody posted that there was an elderly lady that had no food, and we got an update because I referred it over to somebody, right, to go help them. And I got an update that they said that the lady was overwhelmed with food. Like, a lot of people showed up to drop off food. So honestly, I don't think that that's the majority of Laredo. I know that Not just because it's my hometown or, but there's a lot of good people. Like,
Absolutely.
Laredo, it's just a big
And please
heart
don't get
of
me wrong,
good
because
people,
there's a lot of good, and please don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of good people here in Laredo, and it's like I said, it's Laredo, Laredo, not the people in City Hall. It's Laredo that's keeping Laredo alive.
Yes, that's
And
true.
there's
No, no,
no,
no, it is. It's your neighbor. It's I mean, strangers helping strangers. That's what's going on in Laredo.
that's exactly right, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it. And I think people now have embraced that fact and go forward. But you still have those entities that are spreading that hate, which needs to stop. That's the way I say, you know what? Quit it. Quit the fear. Let's keep on moving forward. We got this. You know what? This is what I told them. This goes out to all the leaders here in Laredo, school board, trustees, mayor, everybody. If you would put 0.05% of the energy that you're placing on COVID into stopping drugs, Laredo will have no druggies whatsoever. 0.05% of the energy that you're placing people here with the fear mongering and people need to be vaccinated and people this and this and this and all that hate that they're putting into behind this sickness that's going out there, this pandemic. Okay, if they'll put 0.05% into stopping drugs, there'll be no drug addicts in Laredo, Texas. Imagine that.
Yeah. No, and definitely. I mean, one of the other issues in
Imagine if we put a
Laredo
hundred.
is,
Imagine if we put the 100% of this to clear drugs off the street.
yeah, no, and that's one of the things, um, touching your point is that in Laredo, we do have a lot of problems with, obviously drug use, drug addiction, and obviously being on the border, drug smuggling, and all of that, that entails. So it's been something that's been long overdue, or more proactiveness, more programs to prevent and teach children from a very early age about the dangers, and not just the dangers, but if you are falling in that category or you're in that statistic, right, that you most probably will fall, victim of drugs or to that lifestyle, then what we can do is try to create programs to teach these children that there is other options in the community, that not all of us that have grown up came from, money or anything, that, what, some of us are, I'm from East Laredo, from 2 blocks away from Cape Harbor, which they call Las Lomas. And it wasn't, it wasn't the best, it wasn't a suburb or it wasn't anything in Laredo like that. But I grew up with, fortunately, programs that were, I don't remember the name of the program, but I always remember it was a group of lawyers that went to Memorial Middle, and they would do sports activities. And it was just very, it was just very positive. It was really fun. So instead of going, getting out of school and going and hanging out and, whatever, what I did was I participated in those programs. And not just only that, it was junior achievement. I always remember junior achievement because junior achievement was extremely involved with, when I remember back then in the 90s with Memorial Middle. And then I believe, I want to say they went a couple of times to Nixon. So all those programs, but there still wasn't enough because it's a big memory of them being in and out throughout the years, but there wasn't enough. So with all the obstacles as minorities and living in the border and drug addiction and, everything that we face down in the border, we definitely need more proactiveness to help take some of those obstacles out of the way of all the, the children in the community, because they face a lot of things. They do, compared to other children in America. So we need to be that support system for them. This generation needs to provide those programs, and create those programs for the kids in the community. And try to
Absolutely.
see, so we can really start seeing change in the future, because we can talk about it, but if nothing is done, nothing's ever
You
going
know,
to change.
you look at the rec centers, they're empty. And you're like, how come kids aren't here?
Mhm.
Well, some of them are in volleyball games and in basketball games, and when they have those tournaments, they're running around outside, but they're not doing anything constructive. They're not being used to their maximum. That's what I
Exactly.
say. If everybody would channel that energy that they have right now on the Wuhan flu and bring it together into you know what? Let's protect our kids. Let's get them on a good road. Let's get them off of drugs. Let's push it. Guess what? We'll be doing fantastic.
Yeah.
No more druggies.
Yeah, we know. We definitely need a plan. I agree with you on that. We definitely need a plan in the community. And, I'd love to be involved in kickstarting some type of campaign, with somebody that's in leadership that is obviously involved in within that scope. Because I remember back then was what the DARE program. I don't know why they did away with the DARE program, but I remember the DARE program back then was in Laredo. Well, I mean, I don't know. Was it something national, or was it something across
Their
the board?
program was national. Um, in 1994 in Irving and in Dallas, I started the Phoenix Youth Project,
Mm-hmm.
which was to teach kids off the streets across from Savat and with a capoeira and with a Savat and also with music. And I grabbed several people and we did very, very well. Um, there's always been inner city programs, but we have to take care of those inner city programs and use them wisely because it's not being designed dramatically. Somebody told me right now, and they said, um, I was talking to them, and they said, a problem with our youth is we don't have enough rec centers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough rec centers for them to go spend their time in, learn good projects, and come out being pushed ahead.
Yeah.
And I said, he says, and if you in the big cities, if you and need more parks. Well, Laredo has a lot of parks, has a lot of stuff. They're trying to develop all this stuff, but it's not being managed.
Utilize to really
Right,
be effective. Yes.
right. You know what I'm saying? So, and you're like, you have a bunch of stuff there that it's not being really, nothing's being done. Nothing. I mean, so and so we lose out.
Yeah.
We lose out, and unfortunately, that's the way it is. In Dallas, they used to use every school in Dallas, um, I guess, independent school district. Most high schools had a program there. They'll use a classroom or the gym to teach ballet or flamenco or Savat. I remember I used to teach there as well, and used to go there every Thursday. And guess what? At 7 o'clock, from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you'll be teaching Savat, and anybody will go in there and they'll register. They were being used as community centers. The schools were.
Wow. And that would be something nice. I mean, I
That
don't. Yeah, no, no, no. And that's actually really nice. I mean, that'd be awesome if the parks in Laredo would be utilized that way, is to get all the kids involved, and music programs. I mean, the music program, imagine art program as well. All of that could be used, to create some type of activities out in the parks and get them more involved. Obviously the kids being involved more out at all these different parks, we get the parents involved, and you start making some change. We start really using the parks for other things other than hey, let's go walk a mile around them, etc. or let's go walk X amount there. And like there's more to the park, and I see it here. Here there's all these activities going on at different parks. And it's so fun, it's so awesome. And I'm like, I wonder why we don't do that back home.
It's called management. It's called favoritism and management, and people that's where Laredo lacks. The leaders, I was looking, and I believe me, the firemen do an excellent job. And I saw today in Facebook, I think there were more captains than firemen.
There's more
captain, and this captain and this captain and or what is it, chief or this and this captain and this captain and this captain. I'm like, man, they have more captains in the army. I mean, those are captains.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never knew there were so many captains.
Yeah.
Like the old saying, too many chiefs and no Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Is that the end goal? Everybody's going to be a you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Okay, fine, but they do an excellent job and they're great first responders. And well, we finish people off that way unless we have a tremendous amount of firemen. I don't know how many we have. Maybe we need so many captains for all the firemen that we have. That just tells me that with all the captains that I saw there, we should have about 600 or 700 firemen.
Yeah. I on that end, I have no idea how many.
You know what I'm saying?
Firefighters in total.
Because man, I saw more captains there than the army, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they're great. I mean, I know that obviously the first responders right now are doing an amazing job. They're the ones.
No, and I'm sorry if y'all think I'm picking on you guys firemen, but it's kind of, how many firemen do we really have to have so many captains?
Yeah.
I understand people want a higher paying job and everything paying job, and okay, but you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah, no, totally. I completely understand. And I think to that end, I mean, honestly, it's just, I mean, I don't know how many, but on the first responders and, even with nurses, right now, completely changing the subject on the end, that they're just in the forefront right now. And the Dr. Haber, oh my God, he is a wonderful human being. He's been treating my cousin, and he's an amazing person. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you've had the pleasure of meeting him.
I know him very well. He's a good guy, and
he is, and they're all out there. I mean, they're the ones that they see all this stuff that's happening, and it's terrible, and they're at the forefront of it. So my respect to everyone that's involved in saving lives in Laredo and taking care of our sick, and my respects to all of them.
But let me do this, Jessica. Prayers to your cousin, number one, and for everybody out there that's going through this. Please, our prayers, our heart go out to everybody. Let's stay safe. Let's be well, and let's keep moving forward. That's all I say. Let's just keep moving forward the best we can. Help one another. Help the small businesses. Believe me, because those small businesses, if they go, a lot of all of a sudden, the ghost town starts appearing, and unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is.
And
so hopefully,
we have to get those entrepreneurs that really want to do their work and start moving forward and start doing that, and start teaching them how to survive in this game. Because it's going to be a good one. And I look forward in seeing you soon. And we should be working on some projects here pretty soon. So we got some stuff.
I'm hopefully again starting to look into the podcast package, the small business spotlight. Since it's done virtual, I can still, we were still doing it virtual. We'll stay virtual, which is, I'll be interviewing small business owners from here, from Laredo. I mean, and I'll be in Houston. But we need to keep going. It's just my message also to everybody, keep going. I know it's tough. I know times have gotten extremely hard for everybody. But reach out, reach out to anybody that you feel is, that might need help, or if you need help yourself, don't stay quiet, and let's get through this.
Absolutely. And folks, if you guys need any help whatsoever, you feel yourself going down that rabbit hole, give us a call or email me at buitronacademy2012 at gmail.com. We'll get you some help. I know the way it is. We worked with a lot of folks last year going through this crisis. A lot of folks lost everything. And a lot of folks, we kind of, they're smiling back again. So let's just pull each other ahead now. And don't be
Yeah.
afraid. Let's just stand up strong and let's keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
Fear can be used to two things. Either you just crumble by yourself or you can become a champion. So right now it's for us to use the fear to become champions.
Yes, definitely.
Until next time, much peace.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.